Well, welcome back to the Weekly Shift. And I want to get directly to the point because we got somebody I've been trying to get on for a while. And I know all of those Chads and incels that be following me. I keep following me because I appreciate y'all. We got a very special guest. Today's guest here is my main man, Chris Gillis. He's a seasoned dating coach based out of Los Angeles, offers expert guidance in tackling the complexities of modern dating. So, whether you got a neck beard or anything else, his expertise encompasses a broad spectrum of relationship challenges that includes mastering the nuances of app-based dating, empowering his clients to recover from breakups and divorces, fostering self-love. Look, Chris's approach is centered on helping individuals not only embrace their unique qualities, but how to showcase them and to attract their ideal partners. So without further ado, the second Chris, but the most important Chris we're going to have on the show, Chris Gillis. Man, how you doing?
Doing great. C squared. Are you also a fellow Christopher as well?
Well, I am Christian.
Oh, you had to go. That's how
Christian. Yeah.
Man, must be nice.
Well, look, you can always change your name, but you got brand. That's so you don't want to, you don't want to be doing that. Look, I got to shout you out on the gear. Everyone that follows me on Spotify, you need to be watching the YouTube broadcast as well because look, this shirt is just killing it. Like he's got a little bit of, you got like swaggy Beetlejuice and like swaggy Foot Locker going on. Man.
It's very Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
it's the Deets, giving the Deets' vibes, right? Yeah.
All right, listen, you're absolutely killing it. You're not creepy like Beetlejuice. That's the most important part. So look, I want to get right into it, man, because you got an interesting story. Like first and foremost, what made you get into this field and becoming a dating consultant?
I was raised in a family, one of those like the cusp of Gen X millennials, and in a family when everybody
they call that Zennial, right?
The Zennial.
Yeah, Zennial.
I'm talking. It was more rare it still is rare to find a family that was together. So I was raised a single mom. My grandma had to step in. My mom was a teenager when she had me. So it was just a lot of chaos around it. And there's something inside, I believe, my DNA that loves and is obsessed with connection and the human psychology that craves it. And my brother, all I grew up around was constant divorce. I mean, everybody. I don't just mean immediate family. I'm talking, you can go second, third cousins. For some reason, my family just could not keep a happy relationship. And so I was fortunate enough to get into personal growth work early on. And I'm just one of those kids that's always asked a lot of why questions. And so I am the true hard learner, the guy who climbs a tree and falls down and hits his head on every single branch. And that's why I do what I do to help guys so it doesn't take them years and years to get there. And I can also soften their blow and help them get to the top faster than they would on their own.
Okay. Now I want to dive into a bit of this, just on this background aspect, family background. So, you hinted at it, or you fully said it. You didn't just hint. You said it. And I read this elsewhere. So every single group in your family, like divorce, there's no successful marriages in your family. How do you think
multiple divorces?
Okay. All right. Yeah. They said, let me double up.
Repeat offenders.
So how do you think that impacts you? Like besides it, like inspiring you to get into this space, but I just from a psychological and a mental standpoint, how do you think that impacted you?
It made me very, very gun shy to be in relationships. I grew up in an era where not only were all the women crying because the divorces were so incredibly painful, I was also on the receiving end and had to, had my development arrested and had to really fast forward and put a pause on my youth to be a kind of a young surrogate father to my little brother, who my mom needed help raising, which, made me the man that I am. But it definitely had me dragging my heels and about relationships. And also I just inherited a lot of really, really bad training and advice. Life is habits, right? And so I grew up around watching people, imagine swinging the bat in life straight to the ground instead of trying to hit a home run and knock it out. This horrible form. So I basically had to relearn everything on my own.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. So now, and correct me if I'm wrong. So with all the divorces, the interactions you had were all completely with the women, or were there any cases where family members were divorced, but it was like the male was a family member that was still around at all, or no?
Yeah. So I do want to give, some props to my grandpa, and he would show up once a week. But for the most part, dude, I was raised by women, and my buddy jokes around. He was the DJ at my birthday party. He calls me a day walker, and I said, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Man," you it's like you can cross. I have the ability to cross the ether into masculine, feminine really, really easy because I grew up around women. And so I had to really teach myself how to be a man. And maybe we'll probably get into a little later is how it is how it's just in my short lifetime, it's changed what it means. And now it's evolved. And now I think the dating world is extremely confusing because now we are learning to embrace our communication skills, which are, generally considered a feminine skill, yet also be the man at the same time, but not be too manly because that's toxic, right? But a little bit. So I really had to become a day walker into both areas, the yin and both the yang.
Okay, all right. Well, so that's interesting. I had years ago, 20 years ago, we'll mention some of those. I'm probably going to lose listeners for mentioning, but Kanye West talked about growing up with, this is early on, so there's probably ego, but sort of pre-megalomania and pre-mental health Kanye, I guess. Talked about how, he's talking about sort of homosexuality in hip hop, and he's talking about how he finds it odd that a lot of artists grow up in single parent households and they spend a lot of time with their mom that reflects on them, has an influence on them. And he's talking about how people would call him gay for wearing like jeans that a mom would wear, and for having, I think it's safe to say, Kanye never really showed any, what you would say, all right, that's a male I want to be like, and he has a lot of male and masculine tendencies. There was I don't want to say that because he's emotional, right? But he ain't he's not sugarcoating anything, right? And there's a level of, his artistry early on wasn't necessarily about women and hoes and strippers and everything.
Right.
And so hearing your sort of learning how to bridge the gap, or thread the needle, I think is more appropriate to say, around sort of masculinity and feminism while raised by women. I always found that interesting. I find that interesting, right? Particularly as because that Kanye interview that he gave really stuck with me, that, hey, you know what? You spend a lot of time around this one group, and if that woman is holding it down, being the male and the woman, right? She's the perspective you get, from her around how to be a man is going to be potentially jaded by whatever happened to her. Sure. And then by the fact that she lives life as a woman, which is much harder, like by all means, And so, did you find yourself experiencing that? That's sort of a statement / question, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was, and still is at times. Be straight up with you. I got my Kanye moments too. I'm not bipolar, but it's like it's almost straddling the fence and trying to make sure that I am still balanced, and hopefully I present masculine, but the truth is, I had to learn those soft skills, or whatever you want to call it. I spent hours and hours walking through the mall with my mom. That was spending time. Instead of playing catch, it was holding bags while my mom was shopping for her billionth pair of high heel shoes.
Did you wear any of the high heel shoes?
No. But watching guys hit on her, and then watching her crave the attention of men as well, and then seeing the pain and the disconnect, and and I think it's only gotten more confusing now than ever, because now not only do thanks for glazing me up for having a little bit of style, but now men even have to be. You see them, where they wear the pearl necklaces, for example. Well, it's wild.
You can't come looking busted. You got to get your Manolo and your Tony Montana on, right?
Isn't that wild? Yeah, that's wild. And so it's like, well, that is almost, like we said, it's a moving target of what a real man is. And it's challenging, I think, to also, have your Stetson boots on, but also your pearl necklace, and and your extra small shirt, or see-through fishnet shirt, or whatever it happens to be. So it's one of those things that I really enjoy helping guys out, because men get disqualified so quickly if they can't speak a little bit of feminist, feminine energy, and or understand those perspectives. So men, it's almost required now to be able to be a little bit of a day walker, I think.
No, look, I'm with you. I try to have day walker vibes. All right, now I'm doing a good job. But look, listen, you got me when I'm at the bar, when I'm ordering drinks, day walker vibes. Like I went one time with a dude. All right, and I want to get your opinion on this before we continue about you, right?
Sure.
Went out with a homeboy. We go to a bar Hollywood. He gonna order a Jack and Coke, right?
Yeah.
So we had a place that I got the plug, right? I'm like, I'm talking to my promoter. We're in. Ladies are sweating us. I'm like, yo, pull me up with the Paloma. He goes, can I get a Jack and Coke? I had to tell him, I go, nah, bro. I was like, nah. I was like, that's no style, man. All right, those are Wrangler jeans, New Balance shoes, special pocket, pocket t-shirt, pocket protector on the t-shirt, right?
Okay.
Wrinkly.
Okay.
I go, just come on, man. I was like, I should have known, right? Tell me Daywalker vibes, man. Like get a drink that the ladies, and like, there's some class, right? I was like, this drink screams, I don't know how to dress, right? Now it's fine.
Yeah.
But by all means, you hanging out with your boys, you at a concert, get yourself a Jack and Coke. But you out in the scene, don't go, what are you drinking? Oh, yeah, it's a Jack and Coke. She'll be like, well, this motherfucker don't know what to order. You feel that? What do you think?
Yeah.
You feel that or no?
Am
I off base? Am I off base?
Are you? I ask and do. You're not wrong in that, because with the social media avalanche, the dating app avalanche, that women have an unmanageable number of opportunities and invitations to meet them. And that could be MEET or it could be MEAT, because girls me want to.
Yeah, let me go grab my coat, girl.
So, with that said, the eyes, the qualifications, I think women have to be more discerning than ever, and it can get a little bit ridiculous because about the shit that doesn't really matter. Women will disqualify a man over some of the silliest things, but it's just because they have such a massive stack of interviews or resumes to get through. And so, yeah, man, it's just a lot. So I feel for them. I mean, it's a great problem to have. But yeah, it's unfortunately causing a disconnect, and women are judging oftentimes for the metrics that don't really matter, and guys are getting really, really frustrated and diving out and just giving up.
The Jack
and Coke guys in the Wrangler jeans. In the end, end up getting frustrated and then bailing out, and then the women go, well, where are all the guys with the Wrangler jeans at? Where are the real men? All I see is the pocket protectors or the overly feminine guys, or the guys who are too afraid to talk to me. But they went ahead and they scanned right over the Jack and Coke guy, too quickly and disqualified him. And that's kind of the state of the unfortunate modern dating world right now.
Oh yeah, all right. We're gonna get more into that, right? Because I'm gonna be picking your brain, right? And guests want to pick your brain. Now check this out. So, as evidenced by the great mane that you were sporting, again, everybody check the YouTube, right? Because you guys kill it there. So you were a titan in the hair and beauty space. Now, what did it feel like? How did it feel initially giving up your career within that? Because you were at you're at your last company, right, for 15 years or so. But you decided you wanted to bet on yourself, and you really kind of moved into the unknown. How did that feel initially? And sort of your thought and planning process in that.
Yeah, man. So my daywalker vibes, the ability to speak in the feminine and communicate in the feminine, was my real superpower in the industry. So, straight up, I could talk to, gay guys would talk to me and girls would talk to me, and it was great. And at the time, I also had a lot of Mr. Nice Guy sort of energy as well, which was very almost a pleasing style energy. So that worked for me until, of course, it didn't, work for me, because how you do anything is how you do everything. And so I would carry that, unfortunately, into my long-term relationships. And it wasn't as beneficial, but yeah, I was able to do that and help start up the biggest high-end Japanese scissor company in the world. Listeners, there's most likely a chance, if you're in LA, I probably know your hairstylist and sold them $1,000 pair of scissors. If you're listening from outside of the area, there's most likely a rep for a company who also talked to your stylist. I'm sure they've heard of us. But leaving that as the end, it became very pedantic. I understood how to do it quickly after about the first 6 months. I kind of, I know how to sell. I know how to meet people. All out of the things that I teach in dating coaching, I'm really good at creating connections. Like I mentioned earlier, I kind of had to had to do that. It was my life commitment. Fast forward, I did it. And fast forward after 15 years, and after about the 14 and a half years, it was autopilot. So I began doing dating podcasts with a good friend, a very successful relationship dating coach. She had 2 million downloads on there. And and then I began helping out. I wanted to do anything, I wanted to change up what I was doing. So I started doing dating coaching and fashion consulting on the side, just to keep my brain sharp. And again, it's just what I know. It's what I love doing.
All right, right on. Now, it's as you think about it, what level of fear might you have experienced in just completely abandoning that world, right? It's cush, like you said. You've been
Yeah,
doing this for a
yeah,
while. You're on
yeah,
autopilot.
yeah, yeah,
Any, oh, damn,
yeah.
did I make a
Huh.
mistake?
So let me know how's my radar here. It sounds like you are considering wanting to leave your 9 to 5 and looking for some encouragement. Is that
Uh,
something that's on your
no,
radar?
it is. It is not. Listen, I love having bands on bands on bands and bands from a bunch of not that you don't, right? I love having
Yeah.
bands from a lot of places.
Hmm.
But I think that the entrepreneurial aspect, right? It's
Yeah.
what I've always respected, and I tell a lot of actors this. Not some of them actors that are like still chasing the goose like 40 years and it hasn't hit or
Yeah.
whatever. But the getting out of comfort,
Yeah.
and being able to bet on yourself. Like my situation is different. I got it. Like you said, I got a 9 to 5. I have
Mhm.
other ventures that are paying, and the way I'm wired is just I love overexpanding and overextending myself into that, right? But I think that looking at individuals that are like, you know what, no, I'm going full Monty. Like if I were to say, you know what, let me quit
Yeah.
work,
Yeah.
let me also go and sell and get rid of all the ATM machines I own, right? And just
Yeah.
go, I'm going into podcast. I tried to do this during the pandemic, but then the pandemic hit,
Mhm.
right? Or
Mhm.
early 2020, then the pandemic hit. So not to pat myself on the back, but I've always appreciated when someone just says, all right, look, I'm going to bet on myself and try something
Yeah.
completely new, and I'm going to give up what's stable. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's scary. It also forces you to go all in because you are all in, when they say, you're burning the boats, and there's no turning back to the
yeah.
shore. I micro tested it. Like I mentioned, it became clear just by doing, the podcast while I was still had by the way, my last job, it was entrepreneurial. I worked
Okay, yeah.
with the company. I was a, private S corp.
Okay.
I was one of the OGs, so I did run my own business. I had sales reps, I had everything. So I already had been accustomed to the entrepreneurial lifestyle. It just wasn't the industry. After a while, I got burned out of the industry. As you can imagine, hanging out hairstylists are awesome. If you're one, hey, what's up? But you guys know, hanging out with you guys for 15, 8 hours a day for 15 years is a lot.
Yeah.
So but and by the way, even when I was doing it, selling shears, what did I love to talk about? I'd love to I'd sell the scissor and I just want to talk about relationships. I just want to talk about connection. I want to talk about love. And I love helping people. And so it was natural for me and so long story short, yes, I started getting momentum while I was doing my current job to test the waters and make sure that my boat could float through. And so
Yeah.
far, so good. Yeah.
Okay, right on. So look, all right. So you've been successful. They invite you on shows, similar to this one, and
Yeah.
you're getting clients. What do you think look, obviously you're not going to be asking you to give anyone's name, but if you were to think of like a client that you've helped, what do you think's like been the biggest problem that you've noticed? Because I mean, like all of your clients are guys, right? What do you think's like the
Yeah.
biggest
Yeah.
problem you've noticed?
So for the people out there like, oh, Chris, is this like some hitch thing? Or, you teaching guys pickup artists and things like that. And I
You're
know
way better dressed than Hitch. Let's keep it a step.
there we go. Man, I
Yeah,
love this guy.
yeah.
I need words of affirmation and support will go far with me. Give me your Venmo when we're done.
Perfect.
I'll
Hey,
give you that.
man.
You will quit your 9 to 5.
Yes.
Um, and the biggest thing that I see. So I coach. My offer is I help good men date great women. And when I say good men, I mean men who are looking for meaningful long-term relationships. That doesn't mean that they have to, immediately marry somebody. But what it means is guys who just they're not just trying to add, notches to their belt.
Yeah.
Guys who just aren't looking at for the easy lays, guys who aren't there to hurt anybody and use any voodoo trickery or take advantage of women or men.
Yeah, you're not the
And
takedown doctor. You're not the takedown
no,
doctor.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Because in the end, man, it's fruitless. So my general, demographics are, the men who are more mature. And again, when I say, looking for, great women, I mean, the high value women. So also
So
the
not
counterparts.
only fan stars, huh?
No, not only fan stars, not women generally who are, again, who are just, social media stars who are just looking constant for outside validation,
Mm-hmm.
but also those women who are not just wanting a long-term relationship, but themselves have done the work and are qualified to begin something meaningful, and will be able to appreciate a good man.
Okay, right on. And as you think about, okay, you've gotten these folks, right? And
Mhm.
what do you think sort of so what do you think sort of stands out in terms of the disconnect? And
Yeah,
obviously not saying that you need to have like the averages or anything like that, but as
sure.
you think like, you know what, I'm seeing this quite a bit from the
Yeah.
dudes or even from the
Yeah.
ladies part too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So the disconnect is, and the biggest challenge, because these are good men. These are the men that women are constantly sighing and, pulling. Chris, where are all the good guys are at? Where are the good guys at? And the truth is the good guys are everywhere. But they're not they're not ordering the Paloma and having the pearl necklace and the cool hair that you got, and aren't, 6'8" and handsome like you with a million, a mega, smile that could light up Times
I'm
Square.
about to Venmo you too, bro. All right.
But instead, these are the guys who, they've committed their life oftentimes to, building what they think what they were trained, what they by their oftentimes listen to their parents, what they thought women would want would be a man who can be secure and has a good job and has a nest egg or maybe the ability for a down payment for a house. What are those things? So then oftentimes they jump, because you can only be so good at so many things,
Mm-hmm.
Chris. You know this, man. You just can't be a jack of all. You can't, unless you're Bo Jackson, you're not playing, you're not a Mensa and playing two sports. You have to pick and choose. So oftentimes these good men that women want, they just need to learn to how to jump in to the fastball cage that is now modern dating, where the balls are coming at 95 miles an hour. There's no more slow meatball softballs like there were
Yeah.
back, earlier on, when you had to holler at somebody. And even then it has a little speed on it. But these are just guys who are just getting their ass kicked. And I'm able to give them a competitive leg up and teach them also understand, have that self-awareness. So what it comes down to is that these guys, because they are such good guys, um, and a little neurotic. And by the way, when I say neurotic, I don't mean in a bad way. I mean, because I'm a little neurotic, meaning
Okay.
neurotic, meaning I'm wondering what other people are feeling.
Okay. So
So
not like
I'm
Larry
picking
David
up.
style neurotic or
No, no,
okay,
no, no,
all right.
not no, not no.
Or
He's
not
actually
Woody
kind of,
Allen.
and Larry David's a more, narcissistic
Okay, all
and
right.
on there. He's more, yes, but you have more, I guess more Woody Allen is,
Okay.
he's the guy who would hold the door open for 10 minutes before you as you go through the parking lot, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
what's that? Jay
It,
Baruchel in She's Out of Your League, you know?
Oh, he's funny. He's
Okay,
hilarious.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but by the way, a lot of these good men, especially in Los Angeles, just by the nature of being in the city, oftentimes, ladies, if you're listening, they don't have to look like Jake Baruchel. Jake, if you're listening, that'd be awesome. But regardless, though, oftentimes my clients are actually really good looking guys. But to answer your question, it is that because they are so careful of wanting to be kind and to not
Mm-hmm.
offend the women, that they, especially, with Me Too issues, things going on, and women, oftentimes presenting as so frustrated and angry, that they give the women such a wide berth and so much space that they're both sitting across the room, the proverbial room, with their arms crossed, waiting for one another to approach. The guy's waiting for her to come closer and approach him to make sure it's safe and that he doesn't offend her. And she's waiting for him to demonstrate his bravery because she's actually really scared and nervous, and for him to come across there. So like, two ships that just pass and never end up making contact. And so
Yeah.
my goal is to help these men understand the waters and how to make very low risk approaches in
Mm-hmm.
life. So instead of having to have massive wheelbarrow balls into, fight through a bunch of women and, stop and, stop the show and everybody, I'm about to entertain you, but instead to do very clever approaches that are very low risk. So if she doesn't pick up on what he's putting down, no harm, no foul. He doesn't feel devastated because at the end of the day, yeah, ladies, if you're listening, men, we also have feelings, which you can probably chat about as well. Rejection hurts us as well. We're also very afraid of it. So this way it lessens the blow and also comes across as classy and different than the mega giga chads you were talking about who run up there with a big club and just poof, proverbial pound them over the head, which also must work as well because they repeatedly do it.
Yeah. Now, I have one question that jumped out based on what you're saying. Do you find, and I know this sounds like a leading question, so I guess it's an opinion, but
yes,
yeah,
I do.
So, do you? You're right. Yeah, you do think. Women, do you think women have this notion that guys just have all this scar tissue that's built up that it's like, okay, it's fine if I reject them with like the least amount of decency as possible because that's something that's just been, it's like, hey, it's gonna brush right off of them.
You know what, Mr. Wiggins? I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't. But I have some good news.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to tell you this. The world, we're not thinking about anybody but ourselves.
Okay, good point.
We are so incredibly overwhelmed, and especially not just because Los Angeles, first of all, is an extremely competitive city where there's so many stimulations, and we are so solipsistic by nature, where the only things that are really on our radar is us. And so I think we're just generally, especially when it comes to apps or communicating on our phone, canceling a date with somebody or ghosting somebody because there was so little heightened. I talked about risk of approaching somebody and meeting somebody face to face. Because there's so little invested, it's so easy for them just to throw it away. And I mentioned that stack of resumes that they have. So to them, they are feeling overwhelmed. You mentioned the difficulties and challenges of being a woman as it is, that they're just not thinking about us as much as we want to. So the good news is we don't have to take it personally, and it doesn't have to hurt as bad. But the bad news is to understand that, okay, so I'm going to have to be clever and thoughtful to end up and get noticed on their radar.
That makes sense. Now, as we talk about phones and apps, very 2010s, right? Phones are ubiquitous, but apps are very 2010. As you think about we're reaching the mid part of the 2020s, right? So as we approach that, what changes or themes in dating do you anticipate just based on what you've seen?
We tease, and bag on, Gen Z oftentimes.
I support them. I don't. We as in y'all, because I
really okay.
Yeah, I praise them. Cool. They're honest about. That's. You know what? That's beyond my comfort zone. I'm like, I appreciate that. Absolutely. I think it's annoying and soft, but
they're very in touch with their feelings.
They're
very in touch with their feelings. They are not afraid to ask why they're doing something, and if something isn't working, they are able to, oftentimes, many of them are able, not everybody obviously, but a lot of them are able to manage their ego and go, I don't know if I'm going to do it that way. They don't need that approval that that we were growing up. Okay, just be like your old man or your uncle, or just continue on for the sake of keeping on, And the thing that they're doing which is pretty badass, man, is that they are going back to and coming up with really creative, old school, in-person dating experiences, and they're popping up all over, especially Los Angeles. I mean, from gym speed dating, where they get you all worked up and your endorphins are flowing and you are just pumped full, like Wolf of Wall Street style. You are pumped full of feel-good chemicals. You just had a kick-ass workout. And they throw you in. Then they throw you in there, and then you start chatting and talk about being open, man. It's like, that natural MDMA style flow of openness and energy.
Quaaludes.
What's that?
Quaaludes.
Oh, that's Fear and Loathing. That's right.
No, they had
Yeah.
that in Wolf of Wall Street, didn't they? It was, yeah,
Oh,
or the
they did do
planet. Yeah,
Quaaludes. You're right. You're
yeah.
right.
When
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said
yeah.
there, you're pumped full of.
No horse tranquilizer. No, they were doing
Okay, all right.
that other white drug. But no, to their credit though, they question and they reinvent and they say, okay, they use technology in ways maybe just to set it up the date, but they're going back to physical in-person dating and coming up with new experiences as well. And oftentimes, they'll kind of use cheat codes, meaning like they'll be like, I played really fun. I played beach paddle tennis outdoors, and it was the majority of the people there were single. So you're out there, everyone's in their bikinis, so you can see what they're working with, and you're playing and you're athletic and you're just in its low. It's not football. It's a game that both men and women can equally excel at, and getting together and being the sun, dopamine, vitamin D. I mean, can't ask for more.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. I like that. All right. So it sounds like the big change and evolution is that is the sort of the untethering themselves from technology a bit, and stepping back into the real world, and also maybe this is just my what I added, but the sort of Gen Z honesty, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I agree with you. There is a Gen Z honesty. Yeah, we call it Gen Z honesty. We call it the Gen Z, I guess the self-love that they have because they are so great at their feelings. They don't necessarily stuff them down like a lot of the older generations do. They're able to quickly process them and then figure out, well, what is it that I want, and or just quickly pivot and change direction versus showing up at the factory for 50 years for the job that they hate to hopefully get a Timex watch at the end.
Yeah, millennials, we suck. Shit, I tell you, man, just all right. Look, no, listen. I was telling a young buck, the other day, right? He's like, hey, I got this girl, They introduced me to her, and I'm like, all right, she works for you, obviously, not my thing, right? I was like, I don't have crap I want to talk to her about. Gen Z, they don't be knowing anything about the past, right? That's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that, right? I'm someone I could talk to a greatest generation or a silent. I don't even know if they're still around, but I can talk to them folks, right? About about the crap that they're into, right? You talk to a Gen Z, like anyway, I've never seen Jurassic Park, and
that's your big metric. Yeah. You're out of here.
I don't know who Homie the Clown is. Well, he's introducing the girl. All right, I love that you find it more egregious that they don't know who Homie the Clown was instead of Jurassic Park.
No, I can't believe you know who Homie the Clown is. I was just chatting about that with my brother and sister.
Yeah, I'm not a rookie. All right,
today.
I should be an honorary Zennial.
That was when Fox was a very different channel back in the day. Listen, that's how much the world has changed.
When you're black, you know everything that was ever on Fox and UPN. I'll tell you like that, but we have that on deck.
Yeah.
But the Gen Z, it's I'm talking to her, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I don't drink," and I was like, Then she's she's like, we're going to a park, and like 4 of their dates were a picnic, and I go, what the hell? I go, man. You flash back to 2016. If I would have told a girl, hey, we're going on 2 picnics over a 3-year period, she would have been like, this is a cheap motherfucker.
Yeah. So, and I love that they're not needing, because they are not needing to numb out any feelings of nervousness or anxiety. They're able to process them, some of them again, on their own without the social lubrication of alcohol. They're able to have, that's another giant trend right now is sober dating as well, which is pretty impressive.
I'm on board. It's cheap. It's you save money. So all right. So look, now check this out. You're an Oregon Duck, if I'm not mistaken.
I am.
Okay. What do you think? Well, first and foremost, shout out to them. I hope they win the Big Ten. All right, but
be tough.
As you think about challenges, you think about the time in the Pacific Northwest. All right, how might some of the challenges there differ from Los Angeles? Right, based on your experience with any clients or your personal experience.
So I think.
And I'm talking about dating challenges, not like all that stuff that be happening up there where they be having them real tent cities and
I'm not
talking about that no white zone or where
a lot of that deal with that. That's a whole nother deal. We'll chat about that. How Oregon was founded. That's another podcast for another day.
All right.
So I think, did you grow up here in Los Angeles?
San Diego.
San Diego. What is your, yeah, is that, you sent me, it was
I
funky
hope you ain't about to fucking
area
read
code.
my damn area code or anything.
No,
Oh, okay,
no,
all right.
but you can say the area code though,
All
right?
right, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm about to say,
It's a
is this
is
dude
it,
really gonna give my phone number?
is it a San Diego? I'm gonna get the Mike Jones number. Is it a San Diego area code?
That's so I grew up right around Camp Pendleton.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
nice. That's Marines, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Not my family, but yes, we lived right there. So
Got you.
yeah.
So I think that Los Angeles is a unusual, special place for dating, um, because the people who come here generally come here because they felt the pond that they were in was too small for them. So
Mm,
they had some belief that there's more potential, and they've got to move out, and seek bigger waters and fresher waters. So because of that, and you probably know it's a very transitory
yeah.
city. So people come in here with big dreams, and if they're not really balanced, or if they don't have somebody to to assist them,
Yeah.
which most people don't, it's not a forgiving city, and
Oh yeah.
it'll spit you out real quick. So grand opening, grand closing, and as men, what we see is we have an unusual amount of constant influx of gorgeous, high value women that everybody wants to date. They'll come and then they'll eventually go. So in Oregon, there's more, in Oregon, in LA, 7 is in Oregon, pretty much a 10. So they're, the music, we're just ahead of everything, fashion, music, all the looks, all
Yeah.
the trends and that sort of thing. So that is the big, it's a lot more competitive. I think a lot of people here, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, because men here, we herald and crave, oftentimes, these attractions so much that we overvalue the initial chemistry spark. And so why there needs to be chemistry, and I know, men, we choose with our eyes, and generally women choose with their ears, how we're, the things we say, and they'll observe how we can make them feel, that we will overvalue, and and it's our fault, overinflate some of this dating system. And I think we too, just like I was kind of busting women's balls, vagina balls, I guess, we too
Yeah.
often,
Ovaries.
yeah, over it,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Thank you, I knew there was something. No, I think that we also that we pass up a lot of good women, and we overvalue how good their photos are on the dating app versus what they're like in real life. Because oftentimes, you've probably known this. I bet you actually, tell me, have you ever met somebody on your app and you like, this girl is a smoke show, and you did all the, you remove the filters with your eyes because smoke and mirrors, and you know the angles, and then you show up and you go, what?
Yeah.
Who is this? And again, not that looks are everything, because you're born with looks, but you're like, that's just that you can't even believe that's a representation of the person.
Oh no, big time.
Yeah,
big time.
And I think in Los Angeles, we don't do that just with looks, but oftentimes we're great bullshitters, because the city, again, is so, you almost have to fake it till you make it. I think people forget to turn it off and to be really honest, and and to just express their humility and their fears, and we just want to show all of our wins on our social media and not all their losses and the work we climbed to get there. So that's the biggest difference. There's a lot more transparency and honesty in the Pacific Northwest versus the smoke and mirrors that is Los Angeles.
No, that's yeah. What's great. Like I'm in an interesting situation being from San Diego, because it's there. San Diego. Well, look, every city, every big million plus, whatever, 800,000 plus city in California hates LA, right? You see it in sports, blah, 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 right? And part of it's born out of jealousy too. You meet some folks that ain't never been to damn LA. They talking all this noise. Ugh, it's infested. I'm like, well, I don't disagree.
You couldn't pay me enough to move there.
Yeah, I'm like, you ever been there? No. I'm like, shut broke ass. No, but being from San Diego, there's a natural rivalry, because it's basically us. It's San Diego versus LA, and then Orange County's in the middle, and we don't really consider them, right? They're that place for folks that don't like, whatever. But
Culture,
yeah,
culture,
they don't
more
like they don't like
drama.
culture seasoning. That's
More
Orange
like
County,
a little
right?
bit.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But so
They're there.
so we have a natural rivalry with LA, right? And
Yeah.
for me, it's like, I get folks like my experience in San Diego is how people view LA, where
Mhm,
number one, flakiness. All right, there's a lot to do in San Diego. Like not as much to
mhm.
do as LA, but there's, you can go to the beach. I guess maybe you can go to SeaWorld, you can go hiking, you can drive your ass out the Big Bear and all that. And so when I hear these things about LA, which they are true,
Yeah.
to me it seems like normal because look, I've been here 14 years now, and then also because look, I moved to San Diego when I was 6, went through all my schooling there, right? And
Mhm.
so it seems like it's something normal. And so like when I hear, and like I lived in Dallas during college, and that's a very showy cosmopolitan. Like you'd have like the suburbs going, well, we're the Beverly Hills of Texas, and blah blah blah, and all this other bullshit, which ain't true, right? I'm
Mhm.
like, no, you're the Arizona of Texas. Anyways, but for me, it's like all of this stuff seems that it is stuff that is like, so when I hear like about places like Portland or anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, or hear about the experiences there, it
Yeah.
seems really foreign to me because I'm desensitized to how folks are. That doesn't mean that I've come to accept that it's a good standard or anything like that, but it's the sort of big city nature and the cosmopolitan nature. I've grown up and spent all my
Yeah.
time in cities like that, so it's always fascinating to hear how it is in Eugene or other places,
Mm,
or when
mm,
there's no showiness.
mm. Yeah, it's just not as celebrated as much as, and I think there's a lot. By the way, I think men were oftentimes looking for excuses to band together, and because we feel, it's like when if you did bad on a test, you in school, you'd always want to find comfort with your friends
Yeah, did you get an
who
F also?
also. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't go to the friend who always freaking aces it, because
yeah,
he's gonna make you, he's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Like, oh, dang it.
yeah.
So because again, back with social media, we don't necessarily, oftentimes we have the ability to pick and choose our tribes, and we have many different pockets of tribes. And I think some of us, it's not uncommon for us. Maybe you notice it. I notice it when I'm like picking memes to send. I'm like, okay, who would like this one? Ooh, Wiggins would think this is funny. I know where his political leanings are. I'll send that one. I'll skip my other friend who's, is extreme, is extremely conservative. And I think that oftentimes with dating, there is unfortunately a lot of that, and we want approval to give up and to say, oh, women, you got to be, 6 foot, 6 figures, 6 inches down there, all these things in order to even show up on their radar. And so we will ask our friends who are also angry, and then that creates momentum, unfortunately. And you see, and women do it, as well. We all do it. Just humans do it. It's in our nature to form some sort of, tribe or group that we can
Hmm.
band together and kind of, collectively lick our wounds.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think that's a dangerous thing to
Well,
have.
that's how you get incels, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why, they're growing like crazy. And the new thing is like, just making this up. So gym cells. I just made that up. And the gym cells. Those are the new dudes.
mm.
Just came up with that right
You're
now.
gonna trademark. Yeah, you better trademark that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I don't know.
I might have
Yeah.
yeah, I might have an incel that went to the gym 3 times. It's gonna be like, yo, let me steal this. No.
Dude, like you know what a gym, you can guess what a gym cell is, right?
Yeah.
They're the guys who get their heart broken and go, bro, you know what will let you down? The bench press.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what will let you down? Go in there. That's where that welcome to the club. And instead of talking about their feelings and the pain and the heartbreak or the infidelity or whatever
Yeah. They're
happened,
like, yo, I'm gonna
processing that,
bench and listen to
I'm just gonna,
Trapped Headstrong so I can get this.
bro, yeah, put on my, yep, yeah, my
Yeah. Let me
giant,
listen to Motorhead the Game.
yes, yes, and just go meddle, with these dudes who, who appreciate your quad,
Yeah.
drop in your leg versus actually going out there and changing anything and creating a new possibilities and new potentials. Just to glaze right over and keep bandit after bandit after bandit, wrap it on up, and never get back in the game. And surround yourself by other people. Keep your mind busy and distracted from the hurt and the pain, so that we can move and go forward. That's a shame.
Yeah. No. Big time. Now, one of the things you mentioned is probably about 7 minutes ago or so before I started rambling. We talked about the spark, right?
Mm,
Particularly from the guy's perspective. Now, I talk a lot of males, and just and looking at my life too. This thing about the spark, right? I'd love to get your perspective on it. On the impact of it within dating, sort of for guys, like I venture to guess I have a lot of male listeners that have been told they don't see us, like a girl goes, I don't feel a spark. I don't see a spark. And they're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's been 7 dates. What the hell? Right. Or
Yeah.
it's been 12 dates. What the heck? Right. And I venture to guess there's some guys that are like, okay, that are girls, sorry, they're women that have been told about a spark problem. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are if it's at the same frequency, but I'd love to get your thoughts on, particularly around how much of that comes up, right? And if you were to
Yeah.
sort of define it, because you kind of hinted at what it meant, right? Women are like, hey,
Right.
it's what I hear. Guys, it's what I see, and what I feel
Yeah.
down there and such. So
Yeah. I feel down there. I like that. The biggest maybe misnomer or unfortunate truth is that relationships are going to be up
Mm-hmm.
and down and boring, and taxes and paying the bills, and debts in the family, and then
Mm-hmm.
amazing sex, and and all these up that whole roller coaster ride. And kind of back to the nature of how we now we live a life where we have all of these followers and these avatar representations of who we really are. Um, and we see people's all their wins, and we see them on all their trips, and we see them at it could be their engagement and these
Mm-hmm.
happy tears and things. They don't show the moments of absolute sadness, of long fights, of tears, of heartbreak, of not thinking they can do it anymore. And so because of that, I think that we have got lost in the sauce and believe that there is this true fantasy. And I think when guys or gals, and I think generally oftentimes women, like you said, you
Mm-hmm.
usually hear women who are saying, oh, that guy's just boring, where's the spark? And the truth is that it's up to there's nothing wrong with a good stable man. There's nothing wrong with a person who's everybody has ability to have fun,
Mm-hmm.
and flirt and play. And so that's one of the things that I work on with my good guys, is oftentimes I have to remind them and to teach them the skills of how to move out of their accounting brain, and how to even make accounting fun, and how to working at the
Mm-hmm.
office fun, or whatever it is, and how to flirt with the lady at Ralph's who's checking you out with the big lunch lady arms that are just kind of waving around,
Mm-hmm.
and how to
Well,
flirt with guys.
those are the best cooks, right? If
Yeah,
you ain't got
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
you ain't
They make good.
if you ain't
But
got
no,
that arm
even
jiggle, all right, it won't make my
yeah,
stomach
man.
wiggle, baby. All right.
Yeah. But even, and I joke, and not gay at all, but even to flirt with guys and flirt, I just mean by flirting, I mean having fun and playing with them, saying, dude, you look good. I love your hair, bro. Guys do it all the time at the gym. We're always
Yeah.
like, broing each other, hyping each other, or making people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And a good man is trainable. A good man is coachable. A good man will run through a brick wall for you, ladies. If you have a guy who likes you, he will do what it takes you can teach him and guide him. And by the way, it feels good to give a compliment, to make somebody feel amazing. Oftentimes the law of reciprocity means, and it ends up coming right back at you as well. So I think that's the big misnomer, is that this chemistry has to always be on, and instead to work and say, focus and go, how can I create more chemistry with this person? What am I not doing? Instead of sitting back, laying there like a lord saying, entertain me, dance for me.
Yeah.
Chris, you're do something interesting. Take me somewhere. You entertain me. It needs to have, 100%, both parties involved on giving their all to make the most fun, adventure, and playful time together, and really just flirt with life together.
Okay. Right on. Yeah. No, I love that. Now, we talked about this, you've gotten a chance to peer into the window of the Chris Wiggins life. All right. So,
Yeah,
for all of you listeners out there, first of all, I want to say this is going to be off. All my listeners, don't be DMing me. Like y'all know, I just can't stand that. So just, I know that sounds weird to hear, Chris, but yeah, I just get so many DMs, right? I want Chris to be sending me memes that he's discerned. Some of y'all just be sending me random stuff. But back on target, though. All right. So I only said that because I don't want them like telling me like what's going on with their dating stuff. Go to him, buy his services. All right. Do that. DM him and pay. All right. Don't be sending me your stuff. So I'm going to share. Chris said he's going to help diagnose. I want y'all to know how serious he is. All right. I want y'all to know. All right. So wanted to curate some examples. We're going to give some of the less complicated of the examples, all right? Because like for time standpoint. Okay, so listen, and anyone who thinks that they're in a relationship with me or talking to me or anything like that, don't worry, this is not about you, all right? I'm pulling like old stuff, all right? So, okay, so one time, all right, had a lady, all right, things going well. We go on a few dates, right? Cook for her, everything like that. Like, I think second or third date, something like that. She at the house, blah, 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 right? She tells me she wants to go on a fourth date. I tell the kid goes to escape rooms and stuff like that. She says we'll go to escape room and get some drinks, right? So that's going to be one of the dates. Now, I've got a party to go to, right? It's a holiday. I'll say that. I don't want to narrow this down because I don't want to be airing out the girl, even though I don't owe her anything. But anyways.
We won't say what holiday.
Okay, yeah. So it's a holiday. There's going to be a party, right? It's a hotel rooftop party. So I invite her. I was like, you can pull up, right? So anyways, now she shows up late, but whatever, right? So she tells me she's going to bring her sister. Now, we only been on 3 dates, right? And we're still got the fourth one we're planning. Go meet the sister and everything like that, right? I get hit later that night, right? We're talking. She leaves. She stays for like an hour or whatever, right? She also came empty-handed. Didn't bring no damn drinks, neither did her sister, right? Anyways, they're partaking. Everything's cool, blah, blah, blah. She's trying to sell me to the sister, blah, blah, blah. Speaks a little Espanol, blah, blah, blah. Anyways. Then they leave. I get a text about 8 hours later, 11 o'clock, right? You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, hey, it's really been good meeting you and everything. I didn't really feel a spark and blah, blah, blah. You're a wonderful person. I wish you all the best. That's it. All right. So, now, I know I've not given you a lot of info on what was going down and what our interactions are like, but, I wanted to get your assessment.
Ask me would you want an assessment? Ask me a question. What's
okay?
Yeah.
What do you think? So, all right. What do you think went wrong? So, given the facts that you provided, what do you think went wrong? Number 2, what do you think the male in that situation could have done differently?
Well, I don't know if anything went wrong. I think dating is supposed to be fun and non-committal. I think what happens, it gets complicated, is when we have sex. You can sniff if you had sex with her or not.
I wish.
This will, but
I wish after I cooked that damn duck.
Okay, yeah.
I wish
you made a duck. So, again, without going into details, that it could have been that you are still, or at the time, or at least you were still figuring out and honing in on the type of people that see you and appreciate you for your unique personality. There's only one of you in the world, and some people love duck, some people can't stand duck, and some people love a talker. And some people want the song, want the silent type, and they want to be the talker. And so it could have been a giant thank you. And if anything, maybe you should send this gal flowers because she.
I ain't spending more money on her.
There's nothing wrong. Well,
there better be on free flowers.
Well, all right, we should chat. We should chat about. Cause you brought up the spending money a couple times thing, and I can tell you have some thoughts on it, and I would love to hear. And I don't know what it is exactly, but I know, by the way, that is an important thing that guys feel like we are. It's more embarrassing. It hurts more when we're, at least if a girl doesn't call us back or ghosts us, we didn't spend any money. We're like, but I only bought her, a beer. I don't spend $16 or whatever. And I made out with her twice. That's $8 per makeout session. I have guy friends like that who would break it down their metrics, which of course is just
that's why you brought up them accountants. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if anything went bad, but it sounds like did you do anything wrong? Not that I heard. You made her. You said your first date. You took her.
I think out. We went to a Japanese joint.
Okay.
Yeah, seated next to each other and everything. Got hit with them old family questions really motherfucking quickly too, right? Just talking about what she don't listen to the damn podcast. Who gives a rat's ass? All right, she should be listening. But anyways, we were supposed to have gone out months prior to that, but she hit me at the 2 days before, hey, I started seeing somebody, blah, 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 unfollows me on social media and then tells me that, she's got serious with a guy she was seeing, so we couldn't go on the date we're going to go on, right?
Okay.
Then she appears back on Raya months later. Hey, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Just, hey, Chris, right?
That's it.
Yeah, right? And then I was like, okay. I was like, all right, whatever. So then I text her, say what's good, right? Blah, blah, blah. We go out, right? We get there, we get to the place, she pulls up, whip, blah, 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 right? Seated next to each other, right? I want to say maybe it's a Japanese barbecue joint or whatever. I don't know, something like that, right?
Okay. Are you making your own skewers?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, all right, yeah. It
Okay.
was, I think she loved Asian food or some shit like that. Whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're there,
Yeah.
right? Really, kind of immediately asking all these family questions.
Great.
So
Good sign.
telling her what's good, right? And then it's goes from there. She's telling me what's her situation, how she been guarded or whatever.
Yeah,
She's been in
yeah.
I'll say this, like the relation, like her relationship experience seemed kind of paltry for where she was and like where she was in life and like how old she was and like what's going on with her siblings, what they're doing in relationships, right? So, anyways. So, we get into it, and I'm like, all right, well, we talk about family. And this wasn't like, this was like, she didn't want you peppering, this is what's going on. No, it was like, it was to the point, well, why was your mom a teen? Like, not saying about myself, but if she were to say to you, why was your mom a teen mom, right? Have you tried to reach out to your daddy and all, like, it was like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't care one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not emotionally, right? But it was like, she wanted to know it was good, right? But I'm like, I don't want no crocodile tears or any sorrow. I didn't say that, but anyways, so that's sort of the first interaction. Hits me up immediately, let know. Next date, that's when I cooked the duck and the kondochi and everything like that, right? Anyways, so I think we had a paint night and cook.
Wow. Okay.
Paint night.
Okay.
Paint night and cook. Then afterwards, her painting was probably better than mine. No lie. I want to give her a feel good moment, so I was like, let me let her.
Let her win this one.
Yeah, all right. Then there's a long hanging out on the couch situation. She's letting me know that she's a guarded person due to being hurt when she was like in her 20s.
Sure.
Right? And then she's telling me, I want guys to message me good morning every day and blah blah blah.
She's telling you how to love her. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool, I'll do that. Right. I was like, I think it's I didn't say this, but I'm thinking it's a bit much, but I'll do it. And then anyways, then we start planning the next date. She tell incorporating, get her perspective and all this, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's the additional context and background.
Okay. Did you, after she how did she end it? She said, hey, blah blah blah, no chemistry, whatever, spark.
So we met up again. Sure. I think we went on a third date. Then afterwards we had a third date. Then she came to the party, my buddy's party, right? Rooftop party, and brought her sister.
So did you, and also anybody listening who's ever not landed the person who they really liked, did you have the courage, and it's scary, to thank them for their transparency and their candor and let them know what your goals are in a relationship, and that let them know that you are working on growing and improving yourself, and let them know that you would really appreciate some honest, direct feedback, that you promise you won't it won't hurt your feelings, so that you can understand better of how she or he perceived you, so that you can date better, smarter, and more effectively in the future.
Okay, so let me see if I remember the question. So I did thank her for bringing it to my attention, or I thanked her for letting me know, right? I asked her what was going on or what happened. She said, "Ain't nothing that you did wrong. Just I don't feel a spark."
Well, how you word that the syntax is very, very important, because it could have come across, which, by the way, rightfully so, to be defensive and hurt, because it does hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Initially, especially. But if we can take a second, that's a great thing about phone conversations. Again, I was shitting on social media and phones,
Yeah.
but technology does allow us sometimes to pull a pause, chat with your boy Chris, or your friends, or go have a couple beers or get some golf balls, and then come back up. Okay, now I'm ready to learn from this rejection,
Okay. Yeah.
which is amazing
Here's what
learning
I
from.
know. I saw it originally and I thought maybe it was sent to the wrong person. So I was like, because like you're like, all right, I just saw this person 5 hours ago and I was for some reason forced to meet a sibling, but whatever, right? So I was like, maybe it's sent to the wrong person. So I was like, all right, I was chilling, I was sleeping at the time too when I got the message.
I love that. Yeah, that's very Larry David of you. I love that. It's a little callback. I love that. You're like,
Yeah.
clearly, this can't be for me. It must be a different Chris Wiggins. I'm really confused. This is odd.
So so then I was like, hey, I was like, okay, I was like, all right, appreciate you letting me know. I go, well, I was like, we just saw each other. You
Yeah.
know, what is going on, or what did I do wrong?
Yeah. What
So
did I do wrong? Yeah,
so I left it there.
yeah. Okay. So, and I've learned this through many, not only through the hundreds of books that I read, but through many sessions of couples therapy. By the
Yeah.
way, couples therapy is just like regular therapy, which is just like the gym, which is just like going to your dentist before your teeth are falling out, which are just things that I do because, like I said, I'm committed to understanding and becoming, being better in relationships. So anybody who's listening are like, oh gosh, what is Chris doing? He goes, he must be a hot mess if he's going to, have to go to couples therapy.
No. Look,
I
yeah.
choose to, I want to, I get under that bar,
Yeah.
so I can stay
Nobody
healthy.
should think couples therapy means bad. Nobody should think that it means
No, it
problem.
doesn't.
It means
No,
you
absolutely.
got a mediator.
Yeah.
That's all.
We have a mediator, we have a coach, we have an educator, we have a person who every month gives me an immense amount of wisdom and is sharing more ways and helped me in more ways in life than I can share right now.
Mhm.
But but what I learned is, because when a person is doing something that they already feel a little bit guilty for, because it's hard, because she's most likely not a sociopath, and she either for whatever reason, who knows, maybe she started dating Jason Momoa, who knows, whatever was going on, she still has feelings, and you are a good guy who made her duck, right? So she's going to immediately have her shield of some size or proportion up.
Mhm.
And she's gonna have it in her hand at least. But when people hear the words like what did I do wrong,
Mhm.
that automatically you just said it. You just told on yourself that there's fault
Mhm.
involved in this. Versus the way, I don't know if what I said was hey, please let me know, how did you perceive me, and what things did you notice about me that that could help me improve my dating life in the future, that'll help me, that could potentially help me
Mhm.
grow. And that is that's a lot more low risk and sounds a lot less confrontational,
Sure. Yeah.
and a lot less argumentative, because you're an energetic man, and this. I could tell you're a great orator, and I wouldn't want to lock horns and debate with you on something. I see you on social media. You're ready to go. You got your, you got your spear, and you're ready to go.
Oh yeah.
And I can imagine that, again, how you do anything, so I do everything, and that is the sense that she possibly got on there. So she made, that could be why.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong, ladies. Ghosting, stop doing that. That's mean. That's cruel. It's happened to you. It's not mature. It's bad juju, by the way, and it's a really bad practice to set yourself up if you want to be in a actual healthy relationship.
Mhm.
Ghosting is never. It's as easy. No, don't do it. Show some class and be consistent, for your own benefit, if not for the actual person. So that's my gut, without
Mhm.
actually seeing this, hot take on here, that she got spooked because she felt bad. She's like, oh Jesus, he's about to lay into me, and then argue with what I did wrong. Well, you did this and you were late. You brought your goddamn sister without even telling me.
Yeah.
And I can tell you already got armor. Just by you
Oh yeah.
telling me that
Listen.
story.
Listen. I want to be like, yo, fuck your sister. All
Fucking
right.
Yoki?
No,
Yeah.
no, I want to be like, yo, I know your fucking sister was behind this bullshit. All right. So fuck her. All right. Like
Good news is though,
what? Yeah.
is that this is the good news, and I don't think it's just with her. I
Yeah.
can tell that you have um, the reason that you are getting interviewed and you were asked those questions, those kind of about your family, about your values. That means that you are getting closer and closer, and women are perceiving you, at least initially, as having potential long-term
Hmm.
hubby energy. And that is great. And now, and again, I used to be the same way. And then eventually I had my shield and my spear,
Yeah.
and I would, poke them off from doing that. But the truth of the matter is, I've pretty much always had help, but I hit it with F boy energy
Mm.
because I was vulnerable and I didn't want to be hurt again. So I would, wear this mask and this clown suit and pretend to be somebody I wasn't. And so oftentimes I would get dismissed of ventures where people go, oh, this guy's, he's not taking me serious, or maybe, I was drinking too much and I was going out or whatever, because I wasn't truly comfortable in my feelings, and about who I am, and also have the balls, like I just, to ask those questions I just asked if you asked,
Hmm.
like, to have that honest ability to receive that
No,
transparency.
yeah. No, I appreciate that. Look, this is why my listeners need you. All right. So, all right. We are I want to be mindful of your time, and but where can our listeners, they ain't just my listeners.
Oh,
They're your listeners now
they're
too. All right.
all the whole world's listeners.
Yeah, the whole world. All right. Where can they find you, and how can they use your services?
Cool. You can find me on Instagram at Consultant Chris, just like it sounds. Also
Really
on
quickly, hey, hold on. Listeners, I say this when we get socials from every guest. Do not be creepy in the DMs. Y'all know. All right? It's a reflection of me. All right.
man, maybe I wanted to be a little bit
Okay, you
creepy.
know
It's
what?
been a
All right.
while since bring on the
Yeah.
creepiness.
All of my iguanas, go for it and be creepy with them, all right? Okay.
Oh, like, what have I done? The whole wall of White Walkers are coming through now.
Oh,
They
man.
creep me out. What have I invited?
Them
I
iguanas
take
gonna
it
be
back. No more
down. They're gonna be
creepiness.
crawling, baby. You better watch out. All
Oh
right?
my God,
Yeah.
that's wild. If you're creepy, then instead go to my website, consultantchris.com, and then fill in a form. But yeah, basically, guys, I want to chat with you first. I'm not for everybody. They're just like not every podcast for everybody, not every uh, you know training coach, exercise coach is for everybody. You got to find somebody that works for you. I don't work with everybody. So with that said, yeah, if you got something going on, or if you notice a repeated pattern, or maybe you're starting to get that certain age and you go, I've tried pulling on the store repeatedly, it's not moving. Then the same way that you would hire a golf coach to check out your swing to figure out why it's, being shot into the net instead of going where you want. It may be time to try to do something differently to get a different result.
Yeah, all you guys, if y'all get 3 wedding invites a year and they don't even waste time putting a +1, they just go and grade out for you. Use his services. Let's be real. All right, but come on.
Oof. Or
Yeah, they don't even give you the option. They just go, yo, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and blank that out for his ass. Use
yeah. Or if you're that guy who actually has a good heart, like I used to be, like I still have, but has a great heart. But when it comes time to, when they catch the garter belt and they go, see Wiggins or see Gillis, you know what? He's not even going to get up, because let's be real here. It's never going to happen. Just stay seated, brother. And you inside go actually care and actually want a deep, meaningful relationship, because maybe you are just, you are just slaying, but you're pulling out the same fast food fish every single day and you want something more meaningful. Then also, yeah, go ahead and let's have a chat, schedule a 15 minute consult call with me. And I will, if I can help you, we'll schedule another call and we can go more in depth. But it's nice for me just to get to know. And if I can't help, if I'm not that guy, then I can, because I'm so dialed into the whole relationship verse, I can direct you either where, or books, or to people who I believe can help you out with your unique set of needs.
Look at that. See, you won't even find a lawyer doing that for you. So look, I love it. Look, Chris, man, we got to do this again. All right.
Yeah.
Let's bring you back. All right. Look,
the world needs us, man. There's too many amazing people, wonderful people in this city with their arms crossed, who are mad at each other for not talking to each other, not speaking to each other, not connecting with each other. And it's just a goddamn shame because as far as I can tell, Mr. Wiggins, the only point of being on this little blue marble we're spinning around is to have some sort of connections before we all fall off and, worms eat us up.
No, you damn right. Well, look, Chris, we're going to have you on again. Thanks so much. This is wonderful. Stay on, by the way. For all of my shifters, you can become a Iguana. Just keep listening. Maybe we'll even get you a t-shirt. We'll hear you next week, though. All right. Holla.